If you were crossing your fingers in the hopes that these Olympic Games wouldn't be tarnished by a doping scandal, well, I've got some bad news for you. After much deliberation, 15-year-old figure skating phenom Kamila Valieva is back on the ice for the women's competition in Beijing, but her pursuit of Olympic gold will forever be clouded in controversy. Despite failing a pre-Olympic drug test, Valieva, the prohibitive gold medal favorite in the women's event, was recently cleared to continue competing in the 2022 Games by the Court of Arbitration for Sport, much to the chagrin of the World Anti-Doping Agency, the International Skating Union, and, well, just about everybody. So how did we get to this point? And where do we go from here? Let's break it down. Sit back, relax, and take this in. Coming into the 2022 Winter Games, Valieva, the prodigy known as Miss Perfect, was expected to clean up. She's the current world record holder for the women's short program, free skating, and total scores. She took home the gold medal at the 2022 Russian National Championships and European Championships, and she's already widely considered to be the greatest women's figure skater in history. Again, she's 15. And sure enough, in her first opportunity on the Olympic stage, Valieva outshined the competition, leading the Russian Olympic Committee to a gold medal in the team event in Beijing, and becoming the first woman in Olympic history to land a quadruple jump in the process. It seemed inevitable that Valieva would cruise to a gold medal in the women's individual competition as well. Hold on though. Hours before the ROC was poised to receive their gold medals for the team event, the ceremony was postponed. Why? Because a WADA-accredited laboratory in Sweden had found a banned substance, a hard drug by the name of trimetazidine, in a sample taken from Valieva at the Russian National Championships back in December. Why wasn't the sample tested in Russia in a more timely fashion, you ask? Because Russia has no WADA-approved testing facilities. More on them later. Ultimately, on account of her positive drug test, Valieva was provisionally suspended by the Russian Anti-Doping Agency. She's finished, right? Wrong. Barely 24 hours after her positive test was first reported, Valieva appealed her decision, which RUSADA promptly lifted. She's back in, right? Wrong. Shortly after Valieva was reinstated, and with the women's individual event looming, a coalition of anti-doping groups on behalf of the IOC opted to appeal her appeal, arguing to the Court of Arbitration for Sport that her suspension should not have been lifted. And that appeal? Denied. Valieva will be allowed to compete. Why? Well, according to the CAS, Valieva enjoys a protected status as a 15-year-old. In other words, rules that apply to adult athletes don't apply to her. They also cited in their ruling serious issues of untimely notification of her positive test and added that preventing her from competing in the Olympics would cause her irreparable harm. For its part, WADA said it was disappointed with the court's decision to allow Valieva to continue competing, while the US Olympic and Paralympic Committee described the incident as another chapter in the systemic and pervasive disregard for clean sport by Russia. It is worth noting that Russia has by far the greatest number of doping offenses in Olympic history, having been stripped of roughly 4 times as many medals as the next most penalized country. Russia has also had upwards of 150 athletes caught for doping in the Olympics, by far the most of any country. And it's ultimately because of doping that you won't see the Russian flag or hear the Russian national anthem in Beijing. Technically, Russia is still banned from international sporting competitions, a ruling that came from WADA back in 2019 for perpetrating a years-long state-sponsored doping scheme. Clearly though, it's something of a hollow ban because Russian athletes, like Valieva, can still compete in the Olympics under the banner of the ROC. Anyways, back to Valieva. While she is back on the ice, that doesn't mean this saga is over. RUSADA is expected to lead a long-term investigation into her positive test, focusing on her personal team of coaches, doctors, and nutritionists, while the World Anti-Doping Agency has also said that it wants to independently investigate Valieva's entourage. The findings of those investigations could potentially lead to Valieva being stripped of her medals. It's likely for this reason that the International Olympic Committee decided not to have a medal ceremony should Valieva finish in the top 3 in the women's event. Additionally, in presumed anticipation of Valieva having her medal stripped down the road, the International Skating Union granted the IOC's request to have an additional skater in the women's free skate should Valieva advance beyond the short program. Which, by the way, she did. In fact, Valieva is in first place heading into the free skate portion, despite a shaky start to her short program routine. And finally, there will be no medal ceremony for the team figure skating event in which the ROC claimed gold, as the IOC prefers to wait to anoint its medalists until the case of Miss Valieva has been concluded, although that could take weeks, months, or even years, like it did in the case of now disgraced high jumper Ivan Yukov. Regardless though, this episode has ultimately marred the first chapter of what could be one of the all-time great Olympic careers, and has only intensified long-standing concerns about Russia's doping culture and integrity in sports.